Brodes Media.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Real quickly, before we dive into it all, if you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button as well. Over on Twitter, @Brodes81. Follow me there. It's always fun. On my website, brodesmedia.com, I've been writing a lot more with my blogs. You should definitely check it out. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. Yes, I'm still devastated from what I saw Monday night. This team just got annihilated, and they were not prepared to play whatsoever. Nick Sirianni just spoke to the media, so we will react to that. Of course, there's news on the injury front and a bunch of Anytime Hotline calls that we're going to get to reacting to the madness that we saw. So that's the identity of today's show, and I guess we'll begin here. With Nick Sirianni, he was saying all of the right things entering the season about players. Let's put them in the right position to succeed. Let's look at what they do well, and then we can find out a scheme that can work based off of that, through that. And what we're now seeing is that's great in theory, but the execution needs to be there. You're saying the right things early on, which made us believe, there is something to this. He seems to get it, instead of forcing players into your scheme that might not benefit them or yourself. Let's see what they do. What do they excel at? How can they help this football team? Look at the strengths of the individual. Except that's not working. And you're also thinking about the opposing team, I think, way too much. And what do I mean by that? You obviously have to prepare by looking at the opponent, seeing their pros, seeing their cons, looking at their strengths and their negatives to put together a week-to-week game plan, right? I'm not ruling that out of the equation, but I feel they're emphasizing so much instead of staying true to who you are. You want teams to look at the Eagles and say, wow, they do this very well. Instead, you're thinking, how do we approach this? No. Be you. Be you. Play to your strengths. Have the other team figure that out. Instead of trying to get too cute, it's overanalyzing is really what it is. It's overthinking. Yes, you have to take into account what an opposing team has on their roster. A great secondary, a phenomenal defensive line, a fantastic set of linebackers, great wide receivers. How do we counter that? It's all in the mix, okay? Let's not take this out of proportion and make it seem I'm saying you take up that information, you wrap it into a ball, and you throw it out in the trash. No, it's meaningful data. You're losing sight, though, of you, and that can't happen. Nick Sirianni not running the football to that level. I heard Reuben Frank say this, and I was pissing my damn pants. Doug Peterson watches that game and goes, holy hell, he's not running the ball. When Doug's asking that, how is he running the ball this least like this amount of times? How is that happening? You know it's bad. That's fireable stuff. That's I have no idea what I'm doing type of game plan. And that's an issue. But Nick Sirianni was asked about Jalen Hurts today, leaving the pocket early. He said, yeah, you know what? There are times when he does that. And he was also talking about the run game, saying the RPOs, they count those as runs because, well, there is a designed run in the play. But here's my counter to that. Fine, heading into it, you understand it could be a run play. But if it ends up not being a run play, that doesn't count as a run play. You didn't run the ball. And the point of running the ball is to open up your playbook. So if you don't do it and you think in your head before the snap happens, well, this technically could be a run. Yeah, but it wasn't. And the point is, you run the ball to force the opposing team to play a certain way. And when you commit to the run, especially when your quarterback is struggling reading, it only helps him out. Strengths of your players. It's not shootouts. It's definitely not shootouts, Nick. So if you know it's not shootouts, why is that your game plan? But I digress. When you run, the defense commits, starts bringing guys into the box, and then you can explode with the play action. It's not that difficult. It's simple. It really is. The strategy behind it, it's simple stuff. When you watch the Dallas Cowboys in that offense, it was simple. It was simple. And Jonathan Gannon was getting slashed. Had no response. That was horrendous. Made me sick over and over again. Beating your defensive line. Getting to the second level. 6 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards. Good luck stopping Pollard and Zeke. And you can see the difference in what you have on your roster. And that's another element to this as well, is your roster. If you think, and I got to credit Jamie Lynch of the morning show at 97.5 The Fanatic for saying this. I couldn't agree more. If you look at these matchups, one-on-one, your matchup, quarterback versus DB, lineman versus lineman, linebackers, right? You look at your matchups. Realistically, Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, you're really in that. And that's about it. You're not really winning much one-on-one on paper before this starts. So what does that tell you? And that naturally flips to the Howie Roseman. Well, then your roster's not good. But here's why I'm disappointed and why I'm upset with the whole narrative now switching to Howie Roseman. We already established that last season, right? We established that Howie and Jeffrey Lurie made mistakes. Things have been ugly. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, there's been some bad picks. Jalen Reagor possibly as well, and he deserves less snaps while Quez Watkins deserves more snaps. And yeah, you know what? Howie Roseman probably has his mouth and his sound, his message in Nick Sirianni's ears about that. I'm sure Howie Roseman and Lurie are making that decision on Jalen Reagor's snap usage right now. But if you look at this from a perspective of what we saw last year, we knew that they already screwed it up. This is not new information. It's not that, well, they screwed up last year and now they're screwing up this year. No, this is all part of them screwing up before and them fixing the issues. Just like if you were to fire Howie and bring in somebody else, it would take time to fix it. Well, it takes time to fix it. Devontae Smith has to learn on the job. You saw the size was a factor. Now, that doesn't change my opinion on who I feel he can be. Devontae Smith has a hell of a skill set. He's fantastic. He'll be a stud. I mean, he's got unbelievable route running. He can catch the football. It's all there. You have to add growth. You gotta build some bulk. You got to get more muscle in you. That's all part of it. Right now, sheesh. When you saw the size difference, there were times he looked tiny. He looked skinny. It's a whole process with these receivers. What last game really told me? A few things. Nick Sirianni was lost, and I'm nervous because his message and his game plan was exactly what I didn't want to do. That was my let's stay away from that mindset. That's what I stated prior. And that's what he went into the game thinking. It makes me nauseous. It really does. And now you're starting to hit adversity. A lot of great teams on your schedule coming up. No Brandon Graham, your emotional leader, your fantastic defensive end that clearly needs to take all those snaps, and when you spread him around, Kerrigan. Where's Kerrigan? He has zero stats. He has zero stats in 3 games. That's almost impossible. I know you're, quote, washed up, but there's a difference between being washed up and not being the player that you once were and still serviceable in a limited role and then just falling off the face of the earth, and that's apparently what happened to him. Brandon Graham losing that. Losing your lineman. Isaac Seumalo now injured. Going to be out for the year. That's a huge loss. What do you do with Landon Dickerson, who struggled? And by the way, Andre Dillard looked good. Andre Dillard looked just fine out there. So the narrative that he blows, he sucks. No, he sucks at right tackle. I tried expressing that. You can't apply what happened at right tackle to who he is at left tackle. When he did play limited action a couple years back, he was fine. Andre Dillard was fine. He was the least of your worries. But now you're all sorts of jumbling again. Nate Herbig, you got to think about Jack Driscoll and his return eventually. Long-term, Brandon Brooks could be back down the road. But as right now, you're going through a banged-up offensive line again, which is a problem because if Jalen Hurts is going to snap the football, read once, and then start running around, leaving the pocket early, it leads to all those penalties. It leads to offensive linemen being upfield. It's amazing. It really is. And just back to like the Howie thing, the linebacker thing. You gotta start looking at the linebacker position, okay? With the way that football is played these days, new era disguises and the hybrid players. You need a hybrid player. Did you watch Parsons out there? Kid's a stud, flat out linebacker. It doesn't matter. This kid's versatile as hell. You need those players. Malcolm Jenkins was a linebacker safety type hybrid. Did you see the impact he made on those defenses under Jim Schwartz? It matters. You got to find a way to do it. You can't put zero money into it and think Alex Singleton, who's a nice story, but he was lost. That's not real. That's not a real linebacker. Come on. He's got a role in this league, but that's not a real linebacker. And at the end of the last episode, I talked about Howie Roseman being top 5 GM in the league. Just to tell you a little bit about Brett Veach from the Chiefs, Mickey Loomis from the Saints, DeCosta from the Ravens. You got the Steelers. You got Chris Ballard in Indianapolis, Les Snead. All these names, okay, that everyone likes around the league. Howie Roseman is in the same category as these people. In the same exact category of all the top GMs in all of football. That's all I'm saying. I'm not tied to Howie Roseman forever. Good things need changes sometime, or good people need some changes sometime. Andy Reid, it was time for change, but that didn't mean he couldn't coach anymore. At times, it's okay to make change. All I'm saying is the reaction to Howie Roseman blowing is obnoxious, and it makes no sense because all these guys, you want to run through the Saints, the Ravens can't find a wide receiver at all, ever. They can't find wide receivers. It's hard. This is hard to do. The rate of Howie Roseman is just as successful as Bill Belichick, all these GMs in the league, in the same category. Just putting it in perspective. That's all. All right, what else was touched on? The no motion. We're only going to motion when we have to. We won't motion just to motion. Well, obviously, but you never really have to do it. You do it for disguises. You do it to confuse the defense. There's reasons to do it. If it's not the biggest part of the play, it's deception. That's what fools the opposing team. That's what you need in this era of football. That's what we thought we were getting with the new head coach. Young, adaptive, innovative, different. You got flow happening. People are moving. You're confusing the D. You're going one way. Misdirection. No one just motions for nothing. It's all part of the plan. It sets up a play 2 drives later. You got to be thinking ahead. That's why being a head coach is difficult. I didn't think it was that hard to process. I'm hoping the leadership can stand here, though. Lane Johnson, Jason Gowdy. I thought Zach Ertz would be more of a leader, but based off of the relationship issues and where this organization is with him, just doesn't seem to be that way anymore. He doesn't have that same impact from the leadership standpoint. Jalen Hurts was in the huddle breaking things down without Brandon Graham. I love to see that. I love to hear him hold himself accountable, too. I can live without the deuce line, though, about flushing it down the toilet. I mean, I don't care for that one. It didn't really hit home with me. Some loved it. Some hated it. It is what it is. I didn't fully like it, but I'm not insanely bothered by it either. I could do without it, but he held himself accountable. Nick Sirianni looks at that as a positive because it's setting the foundation of the culture. Fine, I can get behind that. He Nick Sirianni kept it real with that answer. He said basically one of the things I like to hear is when we do bad, it's more about acknowledging that. Accountability. Yeah, you know what? If I did this better, we could have won. If I did this better, we could have won. And whether that was true or not, it's just about the mentality of that approach from the player's perspective. And yeah, I like that, but I also wonder, how come with Nick Sirianni, this is like a huge growing process instead of finding a head coach that was ready for it, who had coaching experience at the head coach level? I don't know. It's just we are sold this product. We have this huge project. You know how we talk about project quarterbacks? We basically have a project head coach. Isn't this the National Football League? Isn't this the NFL where results matter? And I get it. You're going through a rebuild. There's a cycle in sports. There's a big circle. And right now with the Eagles, they're at a part of this circle where you got to reshape some things and weave out the older players. And think about next year, by the way, with Howie and the money, and he's already moved money money around this season to gain more in your salary cap. That Carson Wentz contract off the books is going to be monstrous for the moves that you can make and the players that you can acquire when we think about reshaping this team with a lot of the draft picks next year, which at this rate I'd say you might have to face the facts here and be looking at a quarterback. It's only a handful of games. I'm just saying, if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet more towards Jalen Hurts isn't the guy, because you're starting to see those issues that have always been tied to his name before he got to the NFL, with or without the help from Nick Sirianni, which was clearly without, considering you couldn't even help out the young quarterback and you dropped him back too many times instead of utilizing one of your weapons that can roast through the center of the field for 24 yards. There's a lot in play for the future of this thing with reshaping them. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy that we're here, that's for sure. Accountability. How about Derek Barnett? Derek Barnett, you want to set the culture? I'd cut his ass, no doubt. I know that you lost Brandon Graham. It'll be you want to make a statement? Seriously, do you want to make a statement to your team? A wake-up call? Slap them in the face? How about cold water? Splashing cold water on somebody's face when they're sleeping and they wake up, what? In a panic. Maybe there'll be a sense of urgency. He's not even ready to be on the field. He has no idea even when to be on the field. I've never seen anything like it. Here he is, 7 minutes late to the line of scrimmage. Baldy does his Baldy breakdowns. You're talking about a goal line stand. First off, the fact that the defense is playing certain formations in some of these goal line stands is mind-blowing. But after that, Derek Barnett's late. If you're Dak Prescott, snap the ball earlier. It's amazing. Cut is it. Get him out of here. He stinks. Stinks. And it's only, I feel like it's gotten worse. That's just from the eye test. I don't know the numbers. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know he's got more penalties than he does sacks, though, which is embarrassing. But anyway, it does seem like this year it's almost like that sense of urgency he had under Jim Schwartz, which was very little. It wasn't a lot. He still had major problems in years past. It almost seems like the door is wide open for him to do it even more now, though. I mean, like I said, I could be wrong. It's more the eye test. I'm emotional about it right now at the moment, too, so I'm in the moment. I'm in the thick of it, which matters, no doubt. All right, we do have some anytime hotline calls to get to, though. I think I pretty much hit on a lot of the stuff that I wanted to touch on here for the most part. Yeah, I'm sure if I didn't, it'll come up based off of dialogue here on the Anytime Hotline. The Anytime Hotline is brought to you by Orbit Energy and Power. With over 20 years of industry experience, Orbit Energy and Power is home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. At Orbit, they're dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. Orbit also provides water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, electrical upgrades, new roofs, heating and cooling, and so much more. So check out their information. It's all down below. All right, let's kick things off here on the Anytime Hotline. Here we go.
This is exactly what I was afraid of. You have the Beat Dallas shirt. You got, let's watch these videos about the rivalry. Oh, you got all this. And then we just get demolished on primetime. Look like a bunch of idiots with our stupid T-shirts. Ridiculous. And if this is his whole shtick, the players are going to be out of it in like 2 weeks. If he just goes in every week showing us videos and wearing T-shirts, that's not going to win you football games, and that's not going to win over the team. They need to get it together. I mean, if that's Nick's only card here, then we're screwed.
Well, I mean, let's be real. We don't know what he has in his cards, considering he's never done this. But if I had to guess, I'd imagine that, yeah, this is it. And that's what's concerning to me. That was why I was concerned day one when I heard him speak. When you even hear him speak a little bit today, there was a different message. I didn't really like the body language, the mannerisms, the us, kind of searching around for some answers. I didn't love the tone in his delivery at all today. He kind of looked all over the map a bit, which I expected. It's not as if I expected pure dominance, if you will, in this press conference. I figured there'd be some running around in his brain looking for... At one point, he got nervous that he gave too much information. What does Jalen Hurts look for? Well, he looks for linebackers. He looks for safety and all this. I'm thinking, after... Nick said, did I give too much information? Probably. What? You're talking about the NFL. You don't think coaches know that quarterbacks look at the defense and look for what they're seeing? Yeah, you're looking at the coverage. That's not rocket science. Yeah, we're looking at the linebackers. We're looking at the safeties. And if they disguise it, they're going to disguise it anyway. That's football. That's what you try and do to confuse the opposing team's offense. You're not giving any information. But that's the Nick Sirianni experience. Ultimately, when I was told I'm not allowed to have an opinion after hearing him speak for the first time due to his nerves, that's foolish because there was something in there. You could grab something out of that, which is, I don't know, is he ready for this? What happens when adversity hits? That was the number one thing I continued to ask for months, from July all the way through right now. When things go sour, when things go south, the T-shirt, all the T-shirts, not just the Beat Dallas, the Brandon Graham, this and that, whatever that, rock, paper, scissors, shoot, that goofiness, that corniness, the fact that you don't even use your running back. When it's week 7 and you have 1 win or 2 wins under your belt and there's guys sitting in the locker room and they're in their stalls and Nick Sirianni's speaking, you give the little nudge, the little side eye, like, dude, this clown, really? I mean, he's talking a big game right here. It's been 6 weeks he hasn't ran the football. All of a sudden now he's talking about, come on. Now, I wonder with the game plan, because it has been where we wanted more over-the-top throws. They tried over-the-top throws. We wanted this. They tried this. Are we going to see 35 carries for Miles Sanders, 65 carries for 99 carries for Miles Sanders just to prove a point? Oh, we'll run it this week. Well, it's clear the emphasis is run, 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 run. And it's not even run to the level of 50-50 and balanced. It's run just to make it make sense. That's all we're asking for. I'm not demanding 1963 football where you got leather helmets and you're trying to chug through the middle of your offensive line between the tackles. That's not what it's all about for me. But make it where it's reasonable, where you have to at least respect the run game, and he's one of your best playmakers. Once again, this is another game where they just absolutely 1,000% on their own took out their skill players. They did it with Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz in game 2, but at least they were holding on. At least they were involved. At least there were shots downfield. There was something to it, even though it wasn't good enough. But like that's where the bar now is after this 49ers game, or after this game against Dallas. Get us back to where we were against the 49ers, which was not good enough at all. But at least they were competitive and we saw shots. This, like, the offense was random. Run this route, run that route, let's pick something out of a hat. And once again, I don't want it to look like the 49ers game. I'm just saying. I mean, look at the difference, which is telling you a lot about how poor the Dallas game really was. Ay. All right, what's next?
All right, bros. That was a shit show. That was a terrible game to watch. I don't even know what to say about it. I just have one thing. So we have 2 coaches here, Doug Peterson and now Nick Sirianni. Why are we not running the football with 2 head coaches? I don't know if this is a Howard Roseman thing why we're not running the ball. I don't know if it's a Jeffrey Lurie thing. But that is just quite odd to me. We have 2 coaches back to back, and we're not running the football. Not even attempting to run the football. I just want to hear your thoughts on that, bros.
I honestly feel with this game, it just got away from Nick Sirianni. I don't think Howie Roseman's in Nick Sirianni's ear saying never run the football. Now, we did hear that with Doug Peterson, they would win a football game, and you would hear from Jeffrey Lurie that they didn't like the manner that it went down, right? But we didn't throw the football enough. You ran too much, which is a disgrace. A win is a win. It shouldn't matter how. So I'm sure that there is something to that in general. I'm just saying last game, it wasn't, hey, run the ball 2 times with Miles Sanders. I honestly feel the game just got away. When it was, what were some of the scores? Like 20-7, they felt, or when it was even 7-0, it almost felt as if the Eagles felt it was 40-0. When the deficit was 2 touchdowns, it felt like 7. So Nick Sirianni, under pressure, he cracked. The game sped up on him way too fast, and he could not dial it back because, well, he's inexperienced and he hasn't been in that moment, which was something that definitely scared me entering the night. Big time lights on you. Prime time, Monday Night Football. Every single set of eyes around the league is tuning into you. And it just went way out of control. 1,000%. But yeah, look, the organization values passing. I'll say this. The entire league does the same thing. Throw, 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 throw. There's more running than this. That's what I'm trying to say. This is unacceptable. That's why, no, it's not to this level. But there needs to be more of a balance. No doubt about it. It's always naturally going to be more passing because of the speed, the explosion. Just watch other teams. It's the same way majority of the time. It just so happens that it got way lost. And it's hard to get to this level of disgust in the run game. It really is. So to answer your question, is there something to it organizationally? And I would say more Jeffrey Lurie than Howie Roseman in analytics. Yes. Jeff McClain, who covers the team for the Philadelphia Inquirer, he put up a 2-part series online about the way that they use analytics. So it's clear that's a part of it. But game 3, this little amount of carries, I think this is more just Nick Sirianni lost it. And when he was down, he thought he was down way bigger than what he was. It might have felt heavier on him on the sidelines, which made him really get a loss of flow in his play calling. All right, what's next?
All right, Brodes. Obviously, this game sucked, and obviously it was an absolute chore to get through. But at the end of the day, this whole season, we went into the season knowing that this team is not going to be good. And if you went into this season, I'm talking about Eagles fans in general. If you're an Eagles fan, you went into the season thinking that, oh man, we're just one great player away from going back to another Super Bowl. Stop it. Stop it. This is a rebuilding season to see what we have in our starting quarterback and what we have in our head coach. And while they haven't looked particularly impressive so far, let's write it out and see what we have.
I agree with that. We have to ride it out for sure. But the problem is, and you're right, from the surface, you knew you weren't going to be a good team. There were fans that were way too optimistic. I see 13, I see 12. Relax. Devontae Smith isn't fully ready yet. Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins are learning. Jalen Hurts is clearly struggling with simple, basic throws, just like we saw with Carson Wentz. These over-the-middle throws, missing Dallas Goedert, and then bang, here's a pick 6 the other way when he's staring down his receiver. Missing Devontae Smith, 3rd and 11. Play should have been caught. Both hands hit the football. Should make that play, but it also should be a better throw. Not that every throw is going to be perfect, but ultimately, all of the concerns with Jalen Hurts are showing up, and it's definitely hurting this team. But all around, it can't be like this where you look excellent week 1, week 2 you look overmatched, week 3 you're a disaster. It's trending in the wrong direction. And there's times where every season there's a painful loss. You go to, where was it, New Orleans a few years back, you allowed 40-something points, you just got shelled, and it was embarrassing. There's plenty of games throughout a season where that happens. I ask the question, is this one of those games? Or is this a defining moment? And I guess going back to what it looks like, it would be okay if you're losing games, but at least it looks like a team that is on the same page. There's flow. There's logic involved in their decision making. Right now, it's all over the map, and it seems like they're trying to pick up the pieces to the nonsense instead of having a structured actual plan that can be executed. If they didn't execute the plan, but the plan made sense, you could still at least see that. Oh, I see what they're trying to do. And that makes sense. Right now, we heard what they're trying. We didn't know. We couldn't even see it. We had to ask, Nick, what was your idea? And then once he said, our idea was, let's hang with them. Well, if you're trying to hang with them, that's a losing mentality from the jump. Let's hang with them. No. Let's play our game. Let's hold on and let's hang in. That's like a horrendous way to look at it. Was, let's keep up with them. That was it. Let's keep up with them. That doesn't make sense. The logic is flawed. I'll tell you what makes sense, though. DraftKings Sportsbook. It's been a great start to the NFL season, and it's only getting better at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. DraftKings is kicking off another week of action by giving all new customers a can't-miss offer. Bet just $1 on any football game this week and receive $150 in free bets instantly, no matter what. And this football season, all customers can swing big with DraftKings same-game parlays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes to receive $150 in free bets instantly when you place a $1 bet on any football game. That's promo code Brodes to get $150 in free bets instantly this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, let's take a few more here. Let's go back to the phones.
Just go for the number 1 pick at this point. I mean, this is how bad this team is. Jalen Hurts, he's not the guy. I've seen enough. He only looks for his number 1 option. When he doesn't have that, he runs. I mean, literally, he throws the worst out routes I've ever seen where the guy's not even open. This defense was, Gannon did not call a good game from the start. They couldn't even stop the run. Sirianni ran the ball it was 2 times Miles Sanders pretty much for the whole game. I mean, what is that? Sirianni lost. Stop wearing goddamn freaking T-shirts every fucking week.
So I understand why you're upset with Jalen Hurts. I don't feel great about it. If I'm being honest with you, right now I don't know who's feeling great about this at all, but I'm just saying, watching Jalen Hurts now, where I will disagree, though, is when you said, I've seen enough. It's a handful of games with a head coach that, as you alluded to, how do you expect someone who has a problem with an area of his game, right? How can you possibly look at Nick Sirianni and his approach with Jalen Hurts? If I give Jalen Hurts to a head coach that knows how to be creative and innovative, you'd see a totally different Jalen Hurts right now, is my point. It might not be good enough. It could be a Jared Goff, Matt Stafford thing where, yeah, Sean McVay could get to the Super Bowl and win a lot of games with Jared Goff, but there's a cap on what he provides due to his skill set. Let's get a Matthew Stafford. Wow, this team is amazing. It could be something like that, but to get to the point, what I'm trying to say here is there's more in Jalen Hurts than what you've seen. I do believe that is the case. It's hard. It's hard to really give a full grade and to fully analyze him, even though there are plenty of mistakes that are just solely on him during the play. And it's not going to get any easier, which is the annoying part. And I don't feel great. If I'm going to be honest, I don't feel great about him. But there's a huge difference. It's hard to really analyze. There's a huge difference with Sam Darnold with the New York Jets and then Sam Darnold with the Carolina Panthers. And I don't know what is going on here more. Is it Jalen Hurts is just that much of a disaster with all this? Or can a head coach really put him in a position where a football team can win more games? But then I go back to, you're not very skilled right now in the skill position. They're too young. They're too raw. Their body needs to grow. It's filled with a lot of youth mixed with some veterans that are getting older. You know, your defensive interior linemen are shredding right now, even at their age. Javon Hargrave's playing the best he's probably has ever played in his damn career, which is great. But a lot of these guys, the Kerrigans and one, I mean, yeah, with your offensive line beat up, yeah, it's tough. So it's really hard to truly digest it. All right, let's take one more call here.
There's only one thing that we need to happen at the end of this year, and that's that Howie Roseman needs to be gone. I know that it's a common complaint by Eagles fans all the time, but it's going to be another 10-plus loss season. We're going to get good Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith play. The youth is fine, but look how bad that defense was. It was horrible. The offense couldn't do anything. And let's not delude ourselves. The Falcons are terrible.
Yeah, we understand that the Falcons are terrible. Nobody's saying that they are a great team, and now that automatically is a great win. We knew heading into the season, right, that 6 wins was the rate. They're going to win the games they should. Beat Atlanta, beat the Jets, beat the Giants, beat the Washington football team. And I'm not saying both times they're in the same category as those dumpster fire squads at this point. So I don't know, but they're going to find a way to get around 5 or 6 wins to flirt around the win total. They'll win the games they should. They'll lose the games that they should, unless maybe there's 1 and 1. There's one that they should win that they lose. There's one that they should lose that they win, and that changes things. But ultimately, nobody's now changing the opinion because of that Atlanta Falcons game. What it comes down to, though, with this Howie Roseman stuff is we already knew this franchise committed to Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman taking that step to fix these problems, right? This is the same. Like, it's not as if, well, they screwed up last year with double-digit losses, and now they're following that up with another double-digit loss. They screwed up another rebuild. No, this is part of that same journey that they clearly already admitted they're going to roll together with as the same core. Now, what I say is the best idea is to give Howie Roseman these assets that he acquired in the following draft, along with all the the cap space that has been created due to Carson Wentz not being here. Give him that. If he passes, we'll rock with it. If he fails, then fine. We can look in a new direction for the general manager department. I'd be more open to it. But because they're losing now, stop acting as if this is a whole new set of losses than they already established was real after last year. This is still part of that. So nothing new changed for you to now start screaming about about Howie Roseman. It's crazy. That's where we're going to end things, though. I don't understand. I just can't get behind that. I don't understand it. It's clear that this is still the same set of issues that they already admitted that will be changed with these two people. They already told us that. Howie's here. So flipping the page and getting fresh again, it doesn't happen with the snap of your fingers. So they'll be losing seasons. They'll be losing football while you try and fix those holes. And Howie was given the nod to fix those holes. And he's been successful in this league at it. So anyway, we'll move on from there. It's not hard to digest BetQL. Take advantage of your sportsbook. Do you want to download BetQL? Yes, you absolutely do. It's the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their best bet model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year. Their model covers everything: spreads, over-unders, player prop, and so much more. There's sharp data so you can see who the pros are backing, line movement so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now to download BetQL. Enter the discount code Brodes at payment checkout for 25% off any of their subscription offerings. You can find all of their information in the description below. They have team lineup, breaking news, injury status updates, and so much more information. It's insane. Make sure you check them out. All right, everyone, I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you next time.